Hey, in this video, I want to talk a lot about the power of decision making and owning your decisions so that you can maximize your results. Now, in order to do this, I have done a lot of things over the past several years. And as I've calculated, it's almost been about $500,000 invested in my own personal development, in coaches, in learning different techniques and modalities. And in this video, my goal is by the time you're done watching this, you can take on a different type of mindset and a different way of acting and deciding so that when you decide to do something, that you will maximize the result from that thing. Now, I'm sure you buy courses, you buy techniques, you buy different things to expand yourself. Some of those have been better than others, right? Some of those you may have had more help. Some of you had one-on-one. Some of it's been online courses. Some of them you've probably never even gone through. Maybe you've got books or courses that are unopened. And hopefully by the time you're done with this video, you will be able to expand your mind to value the things that you do and maximize your results. As we go through life, many times we try to get help. We want help. We want to have someone who's been there to provide us the information, the experience, so that we can attain the result or the outcome as well, with as little problems as possible. As we look back on our decisions, our past decisions affect our future ones, especially if those past decisions have negative feelings associated with them. Okay? So to explain, I'm just going to share with you all my experiences as best as possible and all the programs that I've invested in with the expectations and the unmet expectations and why one worked and why one didn't, and how to just map out kind of my life journey on investing in myself, the mindset, the mentality of me going into it. My hopes are that you will take one or two key things from this video, maybe even more, but that you will take action, that you will have a paradigm shift. So it will change how you think and how you feel when you go and do things in the future. Cool? Hey, so I got tired of sitting down and wanted to do it standing up. So as we go through this, number one, if you have a comment about what I teach right here, go ahead, jot it down in the comments below. I would love to see what you're working on, what you're doing that is helping you make some big changes in your life. Now, for me, let's just dive into the beginning. So one of the very first things that I did, one of the first investments that I made was an investment for like $5,400. And at the time, I remember purchasing it. I had to borrow money. It was that was the year that I made less than $12,500. So it was a big deal. And I felt very led to purchase it. I was like, okay, this is the thing that I need to do, and it's my next step. So I did it. Came up with the funds, borrowed money, did things that I'd never done, and bought it. Went through some of the program. My intention was I'm going to do this program to make money. That was my goal. As I bought the program and went through it, I didn't learn how to make money. And part of me wanted to regret that decision. Part of me wanted to say, oh no. Even though I was very spiritually led and felt that that was the right thing, because I had this expectation of something different, I started to have doubts, uncertainties, and wondered about the value of what I was getting. This is a very important principle. When we go into a purchase with something, we have our idea of what we're going to get out of it. When we act and purchase something, it's always because of a feeling. We're like, okay, I feel like this is the right thing. Or it's logically mapped out to where it makes sense. And as I had both of those thoughts and feelings validated, I was like, okay, this is a great thing. It's what I need to do. I did it. Result, I had not made any money. Fast forward, a month has been by now, and I am super broke now. I have like $400 in my bank account or less and haven't made money. And the tendency is wanting to blame. I wanted to like ask the coach. But I was afraid to ask because then I didn't want to show that I wasn't getting the value. And I had all these emotions that were stirred up. So another program came to my awareness. It was $2,400. So I'd already bought something for $5,400. Now it's $2,400. And it felt like it was the right thing. I needed that next step, and it was to teach me some skills. So I bought that program on a payment plan. And as I did, my intention was I need to make money. I got to have money. Like, I'm a coach now. I need to do this to bring an income. My wife's fixing to have a baby and all these things. And I got to have money for rent and food. And so as I went through that experience, I bought the program and I dove into it. I was desperate for getting results. And so I applied myself even more than the other program. And I went through and I got a lot of value and I put it into practice. I did everything they said, plus more. And instead of the mindset of, okay, I'm going to just follow everything to the T and hope that it works, I had this intention that I know this works for some people and for most people. So what do I need to do for myself to make this work for me? And I studied more. I read it in the shower, listened to it in the shower. I drilled it at night. I stayed up late. And for 4 or 5 days, I went through every possible thing, working on myself, like literally studying it, practicing it, role-playing, getting good at all the things. And the next week, I applied everything and was able to make $6,400 going through these things. And I thought, holy cow. So fast forward, now there's a $100,000 offer. I'm at this guy's event and he offers something for $100,000. And I'm like, from stage, and I'm like, dude, this is amazing. He's like, stand up if this is you. And I like stand up and my wife's with me and she's like, sit down, right? And I'm like, no, I got to do this. And this is what I'm led to. Like, I just know that this is the thing. This is my next step. And by then I've saved up maybe like $10,000 to $12,000. So I show up and I'm like, I am going to be one of his high paying clients. Like, this is me. This is who I'm meant to be. I am not just a poverty driven kid from Arkansas. I am a thriving multimillionaire. That was my mindset back then. And I just knew, like, I had to make that decision as if I had already become that person. So I was like, I'm in. I'm going to do this. I convinced them to let me into their program. I put $5,000 down, and then I had to come up with $15,000 more by the end of the month. So I had 1 month to come up with $15K. Fast forward, I go through, and I'm like working it. I make $15,000 that next month. Most money I ever made. And if you watched my other video, I kind of talked a little bit about that, about my experience and being tied to money and losing sight of the vision because I was so focused on the money. But that decision really helped me see that as I bought into that, I wanted him to save me. When I first bought it, I said, I don't even care if the guy dies. I am doing this to show myself. I don't even care if there's nothing there. Like, for me to go and say I have invested in myself and spent over $100,000 just on one program alone to change my life, to grow myself, to expand my vision and my business, to improve my relationship, I want to be that guy. To say that's how much I value my life and what I do. So I knew that I was making my story with the investments that I was doing. And I knew that there would be people in the future who would doubt, who would have uncertainty, who might not want to enroll. And I could share my story with them to inspire them and help them take action. So I went through it. And I fell short. I didn't make the cut. And I didn't come up with all the funds because I had other expenses. So I really needed to make $20,000. And I ended up going into the $35,000 program instead. Part of me really regretted. Part of me doubted. Part of me was uncertain. Part of me wanted to quit. Part of me wanted to get out of the program. Multiple times over that year. Like, I wanted to just turn it off and stop. And there I was getting a coaching call in a group 3 times a month and online courses, and that was it. And some events, and that was it for 35 grand. And yet, I wanted to blame the coach. I wanted to say, I need more one-on-one time. I need more of this. And instead of looking to what I didn't get or what I think I wanted, I continued to confront what I was avoiding. Say, what do I need to do to make this the most valuable, to get the most value, to 10x my investment from this. And that was a huge mindset. So you see, most people are seeking for other people to validate them and give them everything that they need. Most people look at that. And in the world today, a lot of people are looking to say, hey, what can the government do for me? What can the people do for me that I'm buying from? What can they do for me? But instead of going at it out that way, what can our country do for me, right? What happened to the mentality of what can I do for my country? What can I do for this coaching program? What can I do to really get the value out of it, to maximize my potential? And as I went into it that way of thinking, it helped me ask more questions. I implemented things that others didn't. I learned new things because I was open to not just doing what they said, but being open to new inspiration of things that were not said. And because I had made that commitment, that decision, I was inspired to receive much more than just what I bought out of a program. Fast forward, I end up buying another program for like $40,000 to teach on sales training and like growing mindset and all this great stuff. And I was like, this is my next step. And as I bought it, I felt very led and I was like, this is the right thing. But then as I was implementing it, it was so difficult. I wasn't in the right mindset. I was struggling a lot and I didn't get the value that I wanted. And so I kept thinking like, this person needs to save me. I wish that coach would give me more time. I wish they would do this. I wish they would do this. And I kept dwelling on the past or the future. And as I came to my own conclusions on this, I decided, okay, what am I going to get out of this for it to be worth it to me? And as I embraced that decision and fully embraced that the value of me valuing myself and purchasing it, even if it wasn't getting me the result, instead of regretting it, I fully gave it my all in the mental state that I was in. And I was still struggling with some addictive behaviors. It was real tough. And I would go in and out of them. And yet it pushed me. It raised me. And I said, wow, that was worth it just for that help, just for that push, just for keeping me driving for the next thing, for me to try to get the information. So as I went through that, I continued investing. And even so much that I did a $65,000 program for mindset and tools and techniques. And it took a whole year, almost a year and 3 or 4 months to go through. And it was great, but it was a lot of one-on-one time and it was really time intensive and tons of processing and all this stuff. And in even doing that, where in the past I was like, I need more one-on-one, and then I got so much one-on-one, and it wasn't about the time that people gave me. It was about my presence to the things which I invested in. The more that I got real on what I wanted and milked it and really demanded that that's what I did, not the program did for me, but what I did for the program, or what I did for the coach. Not what my coach does for me, but what I do for them. And to say, okay, how can I take full responsibility so that this is the best decision of my life? And it was phenomenal. I went through, had tons of ups and downs, wanted to quit all the time, went roller coaster rides, but I stayed committed. And I kept doing it, kept working. Sometimes it was 6-7 hours a day while growing a business and a family. So I stayed committed. And I worked on myself, and I did it consistently. Another time I had, last thing I want to share right now is another person I had. This was an investment for, it was like $20,000. And it's supposed to grow our business and all sorts of cool stuff. So I had heard from a friend, and they trusted him, and it was from a well-to-do person. And I just thought, okay, cool. Like, I'll trust them. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't really look on it. We prayed, muscle tested, it all came out, but I felt something was off, but I didn't really know. But I didn't really want to look into it that much. And so, because I had so many things going on, so I just wanted to trust. And I went into it. Turned out to be a whole scheme. And he ended up taking $20,000 from us. And as I looked at that, not only that, but I had invited someone else, and they invested $30,000, And then I was like, oh, shoot, this guy's not real. He's fake. He's posing. And as I went into that, I had a choice to regret that decision or look for a $20,000 lesson or even a $50,000 because I felt like I had costed my friend that, a $50,000 lesson from this experience. And instead of dwelling on the pain or the uncertainty or trying to fight it, I just decided, cool. What do I need to learn that will be worth more than $20,000 for this to be the best decision of my life? And I looked at it and I thought, if I fully trusted myself, if I fully looked into things in more detail, would that be worth $20,000? And I was like, yes, it would. So he became one of my favorite coaches. The person who took that money actually became a coach for me because in my mind, I needed to learn that lesson and I needed to become that person capable of making better decisions, trusting more in my higher power, really looking in depth into all the aspects. And then also learning of like, I could have felt really bad about leading someone else to do something that caused them pain. But as I looked at that, I was like, wow, like what kind of lesson do I need to get out of this for me to move forward with my life and that person theirs? And we talked and went through a lot of stuff and it was amazing. Had best $30,000 and $20,000 lessons of our lives. So as we went through that, I look back on people who are so stuck thinking about all the things that they wish they should have done or didn't do. And they're missing out on half the journey. They're missing out maybe on more than half the journey. So whatever decisions you've made, there is a reason behind it. It has helped you become who you are today. And as you go through your life, instead of looking for what people can do for you or what the government or the US or the other states or the other countries can do for you, look for what you can do by being a part of that system, that group, that program. And what more do you need to do to get the most value out of it in your family unit? Instead of looking for what your spouse or your kids can do for you, what can you do? And as you embrace that mentality, every decision of your life will be the best decision of your life. Even if someone hurts you, lies, cheats, manipulates, you can always find one of the most powerful lessons in all things if you look for it. I just want to thank you for watching and taking time to hopefully learn or apply one or two lessons from some of my life history. And if something has resonated with you, drop a comment below. Let me know what that is so that my future videos, I can continue to dive in more depth in the lessons, in the principles, and hopefully help you make this year and the rest of your life the best of your life. We'll see you guys, and like, subscribe. Even if this has helped in some way, just drop a comment. I love reading those, and maybe share this with a friend. My goal is to expand these messages and refine them, get them more in tune so that you can succeed faster than I have. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video.